We all know improving our skill set is critical in sales. And today I want to move beyond some of the normal skill set that you hear about, like your scripting, overcoming objections, doing a strong call to action, and I want to move into the soft skill set. Today we're talking about relatability, listening, asking the right questions, trusting your gut, being likable, and being good at receiving. In my opinion, these are the skills that set apart the good from the great. So watch until the end and you'll have 6 exercises that you can do to improve your soft sales skills. For all the tips you need to grow your business while maintaining balance in your life, make sure that you subscribe to the channel and hit that bell notification so that you can be notified when new content comes out every Tuesday. If you feel like you're doing all the steps in the sales process and you're still not closing like you want to, it's probably your soft skills that you need to take a look at. These skills are a little less tangible, a little bit less measurable than some of the things like, are you following the script? Are you using commitment statements? Are you overcoming objections? Those things you can really look at and say yes or no. The soft skills don't exactly work that way. They're a little bit less measurable and you're gonna have to practice and perfect. It's a little bit of an art form, and art can be subjective. So you may look at these skills and say, well, does that really make a difference? And I'm here to tell you, yes, these soft skills really are what are going to set you apart between the good and the great. The good news is these skills are learnable. The challenge is some of them are natural gifting for some people. So there are salespeople out there who naturally are really good at the soft skills and connecting with people. For those of you who aren't, don't worry, you can get good at them. It's just going to take a little bit of practice. So today I'm sharing with you 6 soft skills, and with each one is an actual challenge that you can do in order to improve that skill. So I'm going to tell you what to do and how to practice. And I can't wait for you to jump into these exercises. They're game changers. Now, if you're serious about improving your sales skills, I'm going to invite you to go get my book, the I'm Not a Salesperson Sales Book, How to Sell Like a Natural, Even If You're Not. It's going to give you a ton of tips, and the best part is it's free, and there's a link in the description so you can go in and get it now. Question before we jump into our content. Do you feel like soft skills are important in the sales process? Type in yes or no in the comments. Soft skill number 1 is relatability. When you're talking to people in the sales process, you're talking to all different types of people. They may be older or younger than you. They may be from a different religion or race than you. They may have cultural differences. There may be economic differences. Maybe you're selling to people who have a lot more money than you or people who have a lot less money than you. There's a lot of differences, and we all come with a personal context. In order to be great at sales, you've got to be good at relating to a lot of different types of people, because guess what? We are all extremely different. And if you're expecting to only be able to sell to people that are like you, it's gonna limit your pool quite a bit. So the ability to meet someone, have a conversation with them, and find a connection with them in a quick period of time is a critical soft skill when it comes to your sales. My grandpa Tony was great at this. He was Italian from New Jersey. Actually my step-grandpa, so Italians out there, I'm not Italian, sorry, but I would love to be. You guys are fun. Anyway, we would go out in public, and within minutes we'd be on a bus, or we'd be standing in line or at a restaurant, and in a minute he had met someone, learned their life story, found out how they connect, and they were best friends. It was a magical skill that he possessed. It was not a magical skill that I possessed. For me, it was a learned skill. So here's the challenge if you want to improve in that area of relatability, learning to relate with more different types of people. Here's a couple things that you can do. The first thing is give yourself a challenge every day for a week to meet a new person and find a common ground with them. So go out in public and ask questions. Usually you'll find that within 7 questions, you can find something that you have in common, something that's common ground. Maybe you grew up in the same area. Maybe you like the same kinds of music. Maybe you live in the same town and you never knew that. Maybe your kids know someone and you have someone in common. But what you're going to do is go and strike up conversation people when you're in line at the grocery store or in line at the movies. In line is a great place to strike up conversation and practice your skills. or just go to a park and chat with the people that are around you. But every day for a week, put yourself outside of your office, outside of your comfort zone, go to a networking meeting, and with the goal of just simply finding a connection and finding something relatable. And you'll notice that as soon as you strike on that one thing that you have in common, it's like they open up to you and you are in and you have a deeper level of conversation. That needs to happen at the beginning of every sales call because people buy from people that they know, like, and trust. And if you're trying to get to that deal quicker, you've got to create that know, like, and trust really fast, which comes from relatability. They've got to see that you understand them and they understand you. Soft sales skill number 2 is listening between the lines. I think in a sales conversation, you should listen more than you talk. I just do. I think you close the best deals when you do it that way. But here's the real secret. Listening is not all the same level of effectiveness. Some of you, when you're listening, what you're doing is you're thinking about what you're going to say next, and you're just giving them a chance to talk so you can formulate your game plan. It's not going to work if you want to be a master at closing sales. You've got to listen so well that you hear the things they almost said but didn't, because those are the ones that allow you to close the deal. I call it listening between the lines. So for example, I listen for things like hesitation, that they're telling me something that they want and then there's a little swallow or a little clearing of the throat or something that shows me a sign of hesitation. And I listen for those moments and then I ask questions around them. I also think your intuition comes into play here. If they're talking, but you're feeling a different story going on, you've got to come around and address that and ask questions towards it. So the challenge, if you want to get better at listening between the lines, is that you are going to practice listening. And while you're doing this, you are going to not be thinking about what you're going to say next, but you're really in the moment present, listening to them and paying attention to those signs of hesitation or to the intuition that you have that tells you there's more going on here, and then ask more questions leading into a deeper, more meaningful conversation. If you can learn to listen between the lines, you will be powerful in your sales conversations because you'll be able to hear the things that are really on the hearts of your clients. You create deep levels of trust, deep levels of connection. They feel that you care for them, and it makes it so much easier to build long-term relationships. And you guys, that's what we're about, right? We don't want to just have one-offs. We want to have long-term relationships with clients. So listen between the lines. Soft skill number 3 for your sales is asking better questions. So lead in off of number 2. You've got to be able to ask questions because questions are what allow them to open up to you. And if you're just talking and informing and giving more details, buy my product, here's why it's great, that might be part of your script, but that's not what gets people to buy. So if you really want people to buy and be loyal to you, then we have got to learn the art of asking great questions. So for some people, they're naturally inquisitive about other people, and that comes naturally. For me, when I'm in a car with my Lyft driver, usually they tell me their whole life story. Now, I have heard other people that drive Lyft, they're like, yeah, that's not normal. Usually they're asking questions about you, and I'm like, oh gosh, I'm just always so curious about the other person I know about myself. So I am naturally inquisitive with other people, and I naturally do ask questions. If this doesn't come naturally to you, you're going to need to practice. And so what I recommend is testing and seeing how long you can go through a conversation by just asking questions. So without you giving more information, just practice. Like, can you get in 3 questions? Can you get in 4 questions? Can you get in 7 questions before you move into sharing and speaking in the conversation? Just practice that. How can you be more inquisitive and care more about the people that you're talking to want to get more information from them? Because when you are inquisitive in the sales conversation, they will tell you everything you need to know in order to be able to close them. They'll tell you their concerns, their problems, their fears. They'll tell you who are the important people in their life surrounding whatever your product or service would help them with. The business partners, the spouses, the kids that they're trying to get some support with. Whatever your product is, they'll tell you all the key players, all the challenges, if you simply ask enough questions. So that's your challenge, is to have conversations where you are literally trying to see how many questions can you get in before you've got to jump in and actually converse. Now, don't be creepy with this, but practice, because as you get better with asking questions, it gets easier. Soft sales skill number 4 is being likable. Now, I know this one's tricky because sometimes you don't realize that you're not likable and you just think that everyone likes you. I have this issue where I feel like everybody likes me, and whenever I find out someone doesn't, I'm like, oh, really? They don't? That's so surprising to me, because I like most people, so I assume that most people like me. But we all have characteristics that are endearing, and we all have characteristics that push people away a little bit more. What I'm going to suggest is that as you work on becoming more likable and more easy to relate to, that you focus on the positives and the negatives. So what I want you to do in order to improve this is survey a couple of your close friends that love you and ask them 3 characteristics that you have that are endearing and lovable, and one that maybe is a little bit off-putting. So I can tell you some of mine. I'm not real judgmental. Like, I'll kind of take you as you are. I think that's pretty endearing. I am honest and I am kind. And my off-putting one is I'm a little too direct to tell you what I think, even when you don't necessarily ask for it. Imagine that. I'm sure that's shocking to everybody. So I sometimes overstep and I say too much. I say it out of love and kindness, but if someone doesn't know me, that could be a challenge. So I want you to figure out what are the things that are naturally endearing about you. Lead with those, use those. Treat people like you would your best friends, and then find one characteristic that's a little bit off-putting and work on it. Things like, for me, I ask permission. You know, before I just go in and tell people what I think they need to know and what I think they want to hear, I ask permission. Or if they haven't actually sought me out for advice, like, I just mentally give the advice, but I don't actually say it. And it's helped with my likability factor. So there you go. You got to work on being more likable. It is a really critical soft skill, because if people want to talk to you, you're going to close more deals. If people don't want to talk to you, it's going to be hard. Soft sales skill number 5, which, by the way, I have had to edit out many times how badly I'm saying soft sales skill. It's like a tongue twister. So soft sales skill number 5 is trusting your gut. There are a lot of times in the sales conversation where you kind of intuitively know this isn't the right fit, or this isn't the right person for me to be talking to, or they're holding something back, or they're not being fully transparent. And in those moments, one of the things that we do is we doubt ourselves, and really you've got to trust your gut and go with it. So the challenge, if you want to get better at this one, is to practice, give yourself again a 7-day window where you're going to trust your gut more. That you, during this sales conversation, as you're practicing listening to them, you're also listening to yourself. And when something doesn't seem quite right, just ask more questions about it. Soft sales skill number 6. Say that 10 times in a row. Soft sales skill number 6. Soft sales skill number 6. That's all I can do. So soft sales skill number 6 is practice receiving. One of the lessons that I had to learn in sales was I was a really good giver, but I struggled with receiving. So if you called and said, Amy, my kids are sick, can you come bring me a meal? Sure, I'll do that. But if I'm sick and you say, hey, Amy, I know your kids are sick, can I come bring you a meal? It would be like, oh no, we're fine. We've got it covered. We've got cans of soup in the pantry. Kids can eat cereal, no big deal. I was really good at giving. I struggled with receiving. Now you might think this is a life skill, not a sales skill. It is a sales skill, because you give them information, service, all of these things, but they can sense from you when you don't receive well. And guess what? You're trying to receive money from them at the end. So if you give and you don't receive, it slows down the cycle. So you're like, give really fast. And then it's like, receive coming your way super slow. You've got to get in balance, give and receive. So if you want to get better at receiving, here is your challenge. For the next 7 days, every time somebody offers you help, say yes. At the grocery store, when they say, can I help you with your bags? Even if you only have one bag, say yes. When somebody says, oh, I'd be happy to watch your kids for you, say yes, assuming you know them and they're not like people that you wouldn't want to have with your kids. But offer receive those offers. When somebody tells you they want to help you, say yes, and you will watch as you get better at receiving as your sales go higher as well. It's amazing. And there you have it, 6 soft sales skills with 6 challenges to go along with them so that you can master those skills and become amazing at closing deals. I told you at the beginning about my book, the I'm Not a Salesperson sales book. If you don't have it yet, I encourage you to go and get it, download it. It is free and it is full of sales training that will help you to be more effective in closing the deals. And if you'd like to join a community of like-minded entrepreneurs, make sure that you join the CEO Spot. It's our private Facebook group, and we would love to have you there and continue the conversation. If you liked this video and you found it helpful, please let me know. Make sure that you push the like button, leave me a comment, share it with other entrepreneurs in your network, and I can't wait to stay connected with you and hear your sales success stories. So like, share, comment, subscribe, join the Facebook group, get the sales book, and then go ahead and watch that next video.